Alicia Berenson, a famous painter, shot her husband 5 times in the head that evening and never spoke again. Today, I chose to do a little bit of storytelling instead of a book review that I have been doing for not so long, but in the last few videos. I liked this story, and after a long time I'm reading a mystery kind of story, and I wanted to tell the story. Alicia and her husband Gabriel had a very normal, happy married life until one day Gabriel started doubting on Alicia that her old mental illness has started coming back. Once she started complaining to Gabriel that she has a feeling that a person is kind of constantly watching her outside the house, because whenever she goes out or goes for a grocery shopping, he felt that a constant watch was there on her. And once he spotted a man also while going on a walk, and many a times she has seen out of the window a man in gloves, mask and a sunglass, completely covering the face and looking right at the window where Alicia is standing. So this concerned her, and naturally she spoke about it to her husband, keeping in mind the security of the house and their both lives. Gabriel, on the other hand, was not ready to believe it. But we can't say that Gabriel was completely wrong to blame it on Alicia's mental illness, because she had suffered trauma in childhood which had led to her mental illness in the past. Now, coming to Alicia's life, Alicia had a little troubled childhood after her mother passed away in a car crash, and the aunt she was living with was not a very kind one. She used to shout at Alicia. She was an unpleasant lady. But nevertheless, Alicia could manage to get out of that house. Alicia's father was there, but a scar was scratched in Alicia's heart the day the mother died, and the father was going around crying like a madman because he loved his wife so much, and in that rage he kind of shouted out loud that why my wife had to die, why didn't Alicia died? So to Alicia it was like her father condemning her to die, the daughter who was alive, and that left a scar in Alicia's life. Anyway, this was Alicia's childhood, and she was past that and was having a very happy life with Gabriel. But one evening, gunshots were reported by a neighbor, and when the police came in, they saw Gabriel was tied to a chair, both hands and feet. The face completely destroyed by 5 bullet shots, and Alicia was standing there in front of him with the wrists sliced. So something happened that evening which nobody knows and will never be able to know. Why? Because Alicia chose not to speak a single word or give out any expression after the police caught her at the crime zone. Alicia was taken to the court for trial but ultimately proved guilty because of one reason: her silence. Now, nobody could understand the reason for her choosing not to speak a word. If she had really not committed the crime of murdering her husband, then why is she not defending herself? But if she had really committed the crime of killing her husband, then what makes her to stop speaking? Nobody knew. She was taken to one of the forensic unit and kept with other patients who were considered criminals but mentally unstable, and she was under medication and treatment. Now, there was a psychotherapist, Theo Fables, in some part of London. The day finally came when Alicia decided to confide in Theo, and she told the story of what happened that evening. But somehow Theo did not believe Alicia. Theo had a feeling that Alicia was playing with him, and even though she couldn't speak and now she has started speaking, she was not saying the truth. Theo documented it and showed it to the supervisor, and the supervisor too had a feeling that this cannot be the true story. There is something Alicia still was hiding, but why? whatever Alicia said that happened that evening did not match with the evidence found by the police. Now, why is she lying and what is she hiding? Something happened the very next day after Alicia told the truth according to her, to Theo. Alicia was found unconscious in her room, and it seemed as if she has taken some kind of overdose and was pushed into a coma. She was immediately taken to the Grove Hospital and put into induced coma because otherwise it would be very hard to save her life. Theo found out that there was a small injection mark in tip of one of the fingers, and it was not medicine overdose that caused her this, but somebody has secretly injected morphine into the fingertip and has done this to Alicia after she has spoken the truth. Now Alicia will forever be in coma, and this case again still remains unsolved. So there are so many open ends. Number one, why did Alicia kill her husband, or did she kill him at all? What happened that evening really? Why did Alicia remain so silent, and when she spoke, why did she not speak the truth? 4. But after she opened her mouth, who injected morphine in the fingertip and made her silent forever? This is where Theo's narration comes in. So in the book, it was an alternate kind of chapter. Once it's Alicia's speaking, or maybe Alicia's thoughts and the diary reading, and then it was Theo's narration. Then comes so there were 4 open ends, and also 5th one, and also a kind of strange one which will not strike our minds in normal condition, was, out of all the psychotherapists in the country, why did Theo had so much interest in Alicia to help her that he left a secure job and ended up in the Grove, which kind of would have closed because of the condition it was suffering from. It was not a very good place to work in. Anyway, so now at the end of the book, it's Theo who speaks, and what the author says is this, and this is the twist in the book which I was not expecting at all. There was indeed a strange man following Alicia. There was indeed a strange man watching Alicia through the window. There was a man who followed her while she went grocery shopping. There was a man who broke in the house that evening. There was a man who tied Alicia up. But that man had no intention of killing Alicia or Gabriel. This man was the man whose wife started having a kind of friendship with Gabriel, and that mysterious man did not like it at all. This man wanted to help Alicia to break her bubble and also warn Gabriel that what you are doing is not likable to me, so don't do it. And this was the man's sole plan. But when Gabriel came in and the man confronted this with Gabriel and Alicia, he just left. Now Gabriel owns a gun, and it was there in his own house. Alicia also knew. But when the man left, he pointed that gun to Gabriel once and told that, do you want to die? Alicia though pleaded ki don't kill any one of us, but that man started panicking and said that no, just don't kill me. And this triggered Alicia a lot, because that time came out in her mind that there was a time when her mother died and her father condemned her to die, saying that why did not my daughter die, why did my wife has to die? And this triggered Alicia, where the same situation again happened, where her husband is saying that I don't want to die. Now there's only 2 persons in the room who has the chance of dying, Alicia and her husband. And now if the husband is saying I don't want to die, then who dies? Alicia. So it's the same situation for Alicia, and this triggered and angered Alicia to such an extent that when the mysterious man who broke in, went away after warning both of them, Alicia took up the gun and hit her husband 5 times, shot her husband 5 times in the head and killed her husband. Now why was her wrist sliced? Because of the wires which tied her up. And this was how Alicia was found by the police. Alicia killed her husband. That is correct. But who was this mystery man? This mystery man is the same man who helped Alicia throughout in the Grove. This mystery man who came for his wife to warn Gabriel was a psychotherapist. This mystery man was not a murderer, not a person who would do crime. This mystery man was Theo Fables, the psychotherapist. Why he was interested in Alicia's case? Because he knew that he did not shoot Alicia that evening. He knew Alicia pleaded for her husband's life when he was saying that he's going to shoot him. Then why did Alicia kill her husband after he left? And even though she did, why did Alicia stop speaking? This was the twist at the last.